The Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint is up next, where Golden Pal, who is your pal if you back him in America, but he's very much your enemy if you back him when he comes over to these shores. He's 15-8 favourite. Highfield Princess, probably horse of the year for me personally, certainly popularity-wise as well as performance-wise. He's 5-2. Campanelli is 10-1. Creative Force 11-1. Emirati Anna is 14s. Casa Creed 16s. Dancing Book 16s. Arrest Me Red is 16s, and it is bigger prices the rest then for this Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, with plenty of familiar names, and obviously another Wesley Ward favourite here in the shape of Golden Pal, who, how many times have I talked about this horse in races and either opposed him heavily, thinking he's got absolutely no chance, or look at him and thinking, how the hell is anyone going to beat him? He's 15-8 to take this race like he did last season, although he's up against a whole host of European challengers, like I said, in particular Highfield Princess, who's you just love it. I've got a bit Kevin Keegan there, but I would just love it. I would love it if the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint went back to Yorkshire, and not just for my own, Yorkshire blood, but also because she's just been incredible this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was lucky enough to call her home in the Coral All-Weather Championship final at Newcastle.
And I believe on the day you said she's going to win 3 Group 1s.
I actually said, I think as they went through the line, I was calling it for ITV, and I think I did say she's won that like a group horse of the future.
Oh,
I mean, that was probably one of my best pieces of broadcasting.
Going to see if that's true by playing back the end of the replay.
Simon, what price would Golden Pal be if Highfield Princess wasn't in this race?
Yeah, good point. I mean, we're a lot shorter. It'd be even money. Probably.
Get your calculator out, Simon.
Yeah, I was trying to work out. Take 28% of the. But listen, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, Highfield Princess makes the market. It's a classic matchup, and yeah, I mean, I think Golden Pal's probably worth taking on. I mean, I looked at the European Challenge last year when Golden Pal was amazingly impressive. Was a case of you glass slippers and Emirati Anna. You'd say with Highfield Princess alone, we've got a much better contender this year, and even with Creative Force in there as well, and we still got and a few others like Naval Brown, Gomez Go. So, and there's loads of pace on in the race as well. I know Golden Pal's really fast, may well be out front, even alongside all the other leaders. But he got a very easy lead last year, and I wonder whether it'll be quite as easy this year, which might set it up for something coming from just behind. But just behind him. But it's a brilliant race.
Yeah, and it's Golden Pal, of course, isn't it? He's 4 from 4 here. There's a lot of pace on here, but there's pace and then there's pace.
When he won over course and distance in a race called the Shakertown, on officially good ground, not even on firm, on good ground, he clicked off a first quarter of 20.9, 20 and 4/5 seconds. There isn't another horse currently in the universe who'd be able to live with that kind of pace. I mean, he just checks every box. And throw into the fact that you have him in 8, which is a good draw because he didn't want to be too inside. He can actually be the outside speed. He can come over the top of Highfield Princess. And guess what? Just to rough her up on the inside, you've got Frankie Dettori riding for his old mate Wesley Ward on Campanelle, who's also an extremely slick 4-legged beastie coming out of stall number 4. I mean,
and no stranger to a bit of argy-bargy as well, given the Dragon Symbol race.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not the sexy thing to take on Highfield Princess, but I would take her on any day of the week. If they ran this race 100 times, I'd always be with Golden Pal.
Okay, yeah. He's just one of those horses, isn't he? Part of me, I never want to be with him, but in this kind of race, he's just. Well, we know what he's going to do. He's going to break them in theory, anyway, isn't he?
Well, he is, or he isn't. Because when he came,
because he does or he doesn't.
Seriously, I'm like, here's the fence, and I'm just solidly in the middle of it.
Absolutely
no, I mean, I just mean he's going to win. I mean, that's just by how far. But when he came back after Royal Ascot and won the Troy at Saratoga, he actually laid up with the pace. He didn't set it. He laid up with it. He showed a new dimension.
He was showing off.
He raided a little bit. Yeah, and then he kicked on and won. But it's just I don't think he has to lead. I think he's just never really found horses faster than him before. And I mean, there is a thing when Wesley Ward won the turf sprint with him last year at Del Mar, he wrangled basically Coolmore, who own him, and just begged them to give him one more year to come back, to win this race for a third time, to become only the third horse in history to have won 3 Breeders' Cup races, to put him up there with the likes of Beholder and Goldacova. make proper history. We know Coolmore like historic stallions.
Yeah.
He's going to Ashford literally the next day, so he's done. But this entire thing has been built with winning this again. I know they wanted to go to Royal Ascot to try and get an international sort of audience for him at stud. I think he already had an international audience for him at stud, given who's going to stand him. But this year, this has been the plan. Last year, Royal Ascot was the plan. This year, Royal Ascot was just a blip in the plan to get to here. So, he wins. But, Disney could come calling with Highfield Princess if she wins too. So there you go.
Yeah, and what I remember when she ran at York, and you said, as they were going into the gates, I was talking to Paul Keeley, and I said, the big question again, that's that first furlong. If she gets on the heels of the Platinum Queen, she wins. She will win. That's the only question. And she has answered that question and then some at both York and the Curragh. So it will be really interesting because if they do turn into the straight and Golden Pal is up there with Highfield Princess swinging along in behind, it's going to be fascinating. And what do we make of we have to mention two others, Creative Force, who things haven't really gone to plan. Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And from one...
Yeah, too slow. From one. Too slow from one.
Yeah.
Very good horse. Very nice horse, rounding back into a bit of form. This is 5... Let's also remind ourselves, 5.5 furlong sprint.
Yeah.
Not 6 up the hill.
It's a very different proposition.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
So...
Albeit they'll be frustrated because he got outstayed last time and he'll get outspeeded this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you had 2 horses in the race as the same ownership group and you could switch your post positions, Charlie Appleby and Godolphin would switch Naval Crown and Creative Force. So Creative Force from 9, much more interesting proposition, but he ain't. He's drawn 1, so no, put a line through it.
Okay. If you wanted to sit back, and I know it's only at 4:29 in the afternoon, so it may still be a mug of your chamomile tea rather than something a bit stronger.
No, it won't.
And you just wanted to watch Highfield Princess and Golden Pal, but not watch it with a vested interest. You could do far worse than having a little nibble at Emiratiana.
Okay. Yeah.
You could run a very good race. 4th in the race last year at Del Mar. Took a long time to get over a thwarted trip to Dubai.
Yeah.
Didn't travel that well there. Didn't take to everything over in Dubai. Has just started to really show an upward curve in the form.
Yeah.
Likes this kind of ground. You've drawn Ryan Moore now on Emiratiana because Andrea Zini's not got the job with Sheikh Obeid anymore. And stall 3 isn't a bad place for Emiratiana to stalk the pace early and stay on. I thought maybe in a place market or in an each way, it's difficult to see winning, so maybe more to maybe get in a place or something. I think Emiratiana's will run a decent race.
Do we have 4 places in this one, Simon, for a bit of each way Emiratiana?
We do have 4 places, yeah. We're offering 6 to 5, the Indian Special, a European winner, which doesn't sound like the panel are going to be jumping all over that with the Highfield Princess and Creative Force and Emiratiana. No, okay. But I think, so I wrote down here sort of Golden Pal wins, really. But one horse I thought was interesting. I was sort of trying to look for angles. There's always loads of pace in a race this quick. Casa Creed is quite a classy horse. He's obviously got Group 1 form over a mile, but he's got 2 wins over 6 furlongs. Great tough traveller, went to Saudi Arabia and Maidan. And in a race where maybe there'll be loads of horses trying to chase down Golden Pal, he can sit in behind and finish strong and come through. And if you're playing, sort of trifectas or exactas, you could chuck him in at 16 to 1 because he could be a sort of solid horse. And certainly with the 4 places, might be worth an each way bet, particularly if Golden Pal did blow out. But just trying to search for angles really. But I thought Casa Creed might be interesting.
Okay, Casa Creed is a 16 to 1 shot then. Okay, how are we playing this, Rachel?
Golden Pal.
Golden Pal it is, Mark.
Golden Pal win, Emiratiana to place.
Okay, I'll be backing Golden Pal to win and laying him to place because it's going to be one or the other, isn't it? And Simon?
Yeah, I'll have Casa Creed each way, and I'll probably end up backing Golden Pal. I think he just probably will win, won't he?
Well, not if you're Ian Wicks on the chat, who thinks we've gone absolutely stark raving mad the way we've been talking about Golden Pal. So it's a game of opinions, as they say. You don't think much of ours based on what you've been saying about that.